David Goggins is without a doubt one of the most disciplined people in the world, but how exactly does he manage to stay that disciplined? The first reason he manages is because of what he calls the cookie jar. I'm sorry to disappoint you here, but unfortunately this doesn't have anything to do with real cookies. What he basically means by his cookie jar is that a cookie is basically something he's accomplished. So basically his cookie jar is full of notes on which he writes down what he's accomplished so far. When he feels a little insecure, or he doesn't feel too good, or he just wants to remind himself in general of how well he's done, then he'll go to that cookie jar and look at all the achievements. And this is really helpful due to self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is basically when we feel confident after doing something and therefore are more likely to do so. Now, the first reason why self-efficacy makes you more disciplined, when you've managed to do what you told yourself you were going to do, you feel very proud and confident. And therefore, in future, you will be more likely to do so because you know very well that you're able to do so. And also, feeling confident feels extremely good. And if you know anything about habits, you will know that the habit loop consists of a trigger, a routine, and a reward. And basically, if you want to make a habit stick, you always want to make sure that you're kind of rewarding yourself. And by feeling confident about what you've done, that is a way of rewarding yourself. Very many people tend to think that we need to be motivated in order to take action. However, as I've already explained with self-efficacy, it can also be the case, and it's actually even more likely that our actions make us more motivated. There's this quote, "You're more likely to act yourself into feeling than you are to feel yourself into action." Basically, what David Goggins is also doing with his cookie jar, he's changing his identity, he's changing who he thinks he is. And as James Clear explains in his book Atomic Habits, if you want real behaviour change, you can't only try to change your habits, you also need to change your identity. And as Ed Mylett explains, he always explains identity as in being kind of a thermostat. So basically that it regulates how well you do in life, as a thermostat regulates the temperature according to how warm it is or how cold it is. How you think of yourself will lead to how much you're most capable of, and also how bad you are when you're at your worst. Basically, when we think of ourselves being that kind of person, whenever we notice that, wow, I'm doing way worse than usual, this isn't normal for me, we tend to do better. But also the other way around, when we feel like, oh no, I've maybe managed this one time, but I'm never going to manage again, this was a total exception, and in general I'm not capable of doing so, we will kind of diminish our progress. And then the second way David Goggins manages to be that disciplined is due to his self-talk. When he feels like quitting, what he'll do is use positive self-talk. But, and this is very important, he emphasised himself that his self-talk is positive self-talk, but based on the work he's already done, because anything other than that is actually just lying to yourself. So basically, for example, when he's on a race, what he'll tell himself is, I've trained so much till now, I can hardly quit now, I've been training for this moment for so long. And he can only tell himself things like that if he's actually put the training in beforehand and thinks about his notes in this cookie jar. The third reason why he manages to be so disciplined on his really, really bad days when he really feels like quitting is that he thinks to himself, do you really want to be mediocre? Now, I don't necessarily think that that is what you need to think. I think we all should be having like our own values. If one wants to live a normal life, I can totally understand that. What I'm saying here though is that I think this basically means that we should have an underlying reason for what we're doing that is so strong that it also gets us through the bad days. And for David Goggins, that is not being mediocre. Because many people kind of think that passion is this wonderful thing where everything works out perfectly fine, but actually passion comes from the Latin and it means suffering, it means pain. finding something so important that you're willing to suffer for it. Now, this is what David Goggins does to be disciplined, but if you want to know mistakes you want to avoid, if you want to be more disciplined, you can watch this video here.